You're watching the PlantX Vodcast. Join us as we explore the inner workings of all things plant-based and all things PlantX, from the products and lifestyles to the people behind them. Now welcome our host, the man who combined his love of e-commerce and the plant-based lifestyle to create PlantX, Sean Dollinger.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the PlantX Vodcast. Today we have a special guest on, Jacob Fortier, founder of Portfolio Coffee and A Roasters, which PlantX is proud to own 51% of. And besides having Cassandra and Andrew on the show previously, as well as John, it allows for you to meet some of the partners and some of the people who founded the companies that are part of the PlantX portfolio. The beauty about Jacob's business, they have their wholesale line of the business, which I'll share with you today, which allows, for us to be able to get these amazing products out in the environment for people to try. And then what PlantX's specialty is, at the end of the day, the e-commerce side of things, like we've brought up on many shows previously on the Little West website, putting in different pieces of technology that we've developed over the years. My background's 20 plus years in e-commerce, and the team, Alex's team on the design side, put together what we're seeing converting at roughly 3% now. Those numbers are unheard of. So today when we speak with Jacob, we'll speak a lot about the subscription-based model. As everybody knows, coffee, one of the most valuable products on the planet as far as beverages go, and really excited to have Jacob share. Before we jump into that, I love to give a background on what PlantX is all about. Obviously, you guys join us each week. And before we jump into Jacob, we're your one-stop shop for everything plant-based. So if people are looking for plant-based cosmetics, groceries, meal delivery, we want to be seen as that community for people to come, learn about the new products out there, and just introduce unbelievable products, just like Jacob with the Portfolio brand, to have those full range of products, plus so many more. It really gives people the ability to shop for anything they're looking in a plant-based market. On that note, Jacob, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Sean. Much appreciated.
Thanks for making time. I know we had to shift some things around today to make it work, so appreciate you coming on. I just think that it's great for the investors and shareholders and customers to hear directly from you. But before we jump into that, we always start our vodcasts by asking our guests how they take their coffee, which was a great one for you.
Well, I guess I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I'm on to my third coffee today. The first and second were different. My first one this morning was just a French press using our El Dorado coffee, which is really our driver coffee, chocolatey, buttery, lots of caramel, just a very nice sort of back end. It got a very nice narrative in the mouth, and pairs well with cream, drinks well, very well black, but also with any additive or alternative. It's a bit of a foolproof coffee, and we like it quite a bit. The second one was the single cup pour over, the one that you might be familiar with, Sean, the rescue pack, and that I like to try. I like to try throughout a given week, maybe 3 or 4 times, because I like to sort of see if they're consistent, and they have been. So we offer that one in 3 different flavors. The El Dorado, of course. An Equilibrio, which is a blend of the El Dorado and one of our other coffees. And then we've got a Colombian coffee as well. You'll see on the right-hand side, the Inga Ponte, which is a very nice black coffee. Pairs very well with milk as well. More of a cherry coffee. So those were the 2, and then a drip coffee this afternoon. So I think I'm going to tap out after that, but I'm having to find if between 1 and 2 or 2 to 3 is the way to go long term. Haven't decided yet.
love your passion for coffee. Obviously, know a lot more than me. I take a sip and I'm like, this is good, or hey, I don't like it. So the way that you explain it is absolutely fantastic. And I still remember Christina. Thanks to her for introducing us back in the day. And I still remember coming home after a business trip and having a package on my desk, and the way that you guys put together the packaging and the personalized note, that's what really caught my attention. And I still remember you having this gift a cup of coffee. And I thought that was so clever that we'd love to bring back with you at a certain point in time. But, forget about getting excited from that and then putting the beans in and trying your coffee and being blown away by it. And, that's why we're here today, right?
It's high praise, Sean. With that personalized experience and sending you those coffees and sending others coffee, well, I'm sure we'll jump into it, but briefly, one of the things that we were really concerned with in launching Portfolio a couple of years ago was to convey that personalized approach online. How do you do that? How do you, coffee is such a personal experience. You're doing it at home, you're in a coffee shop, you have certain expectations. What is the value add? How do I feel like I'm part of a community when I'm buying my coffee online? So that was the undertaking with Portfolio, and it's one that we endeavor to sort of continue to drive towards.
Yeah, no, and I think there's overlap as well. For example, Little West, which obviously indirectly, you being a shareholder and a large shareholder of Plantex and your team over there, that's some of the goals they had online, right? How do you go and make it feel personal? And I think that the team has worked together to develop something fantastic. And I can't wait till, I believe, tonight at midnight when your new Portfolio website goes live. So, thanks to your team being so involved, because then we're able to take that message that you're speaking about and really bring it through the website. And that's really what the differentiator out there is. So, I think that's all key. And maybe you could give the viewers a little bit of background on yourself, how you came up with the idea of Portfolio Coffee, and where it's at now.
Yeah, well, my coffee journey started about a decade ago. I was cutting my teeth as a lawyer, and I decided to, there's a probably a better term for it, but course correct and move my way into business. And there was an opportunity to partner with a group here in Toronto, Deneen Coffee, and grow out their profile and operate the business and basically grow it from the ground up. And was part of that group for a number of years. And one of the main takeaways at Deneen and my coffee experience generally speaking, as it relates to getting a coffee in a retail store, was that point of sale interaction and just toggling, finding that right balance between customer interaction and giving a particular customer what it is they're looking for in a timely fashion. So everything from good dialogue to repeatable business, and having your clientele become gatekeepers for the business, and they can go out and grow it for you. So in doing that for a number of years, and then moving towards the online side at Deneen, incidentally, that's where I met my now business partner, who was able to sort of bring a lot more focus and attention to the importance of the green bean world, the farming world, everything that happens outside of the sort of the store level. So that was the impetus for Portfolio, and driving towards key messaging, ensuring that people can take or leave whatever pieces of information they want, but transparency was the name of the game. We really wanted to focus on each part of the supply chain, and we continue to sort of fill gaps where we can, so that we can bring the coffee world, the specialty coffee world, which is what we trade in. I can get into that a little bit later on, but basically letting people know that in the event that they want to learn more, we've got their back. And in the event that they're pressed for time and that they're just needing to get some caffeine, they've got a product on their hands that won't, that will satisfy. And so we're really looking to flood the market with portfolio, with really, really good specialty coffee. Coffee that won't have you break the bank, but also coffee that will just have you, wanting to come back for more and learn more. So these coffees, generally speaking, are purchased and are brought to our facility in an attempt to ensure that however you make your coffee in the morning, whether it's a French press or a pour over or anything in between, that you're getting a great quality product, that the extraction is such that you feel, okay, this is resonating. This is repeatable. This is what I tasted yesterday. It's what I'm going to taste tomorrow. And so all of those little permutations that sometimes you find at a store level. Oh, my coffee didn't taste the same as it did yesterday. Why is that? We want to reconcile that to a greater or lesser extent. There are permutations that arise, and that. But as a roaster and as a purveyor of coffee, we understand the need to sort of get that familiar hit in the morning or in the afternoon, and so repeatability is the name of the game with portfolio.
Yeah, it makes sense. Consistency. Somebody tries that cup of coffee that they love, they want it. Anyone who knows me knows in every city I visit, I have the coffee place that I love. While I'm on that plane, I'm always looking, do I have time, no matter what time it is, the store open still, to be able to get a cup of coffee, And when I heard Deneen, when Christina was introducing us, for me, that was wow, because that was my spot in Toronto. At one point I was in Toronto every couple of weeks, and all my meetings were always at Deneen, having a cup of coffee over there. And then to find out that you're the supplier for those beans, I'm like, you have an amazing product. So we're really proud to have partnered with you, and our shareholders and investors should definitely go on the website and order your products to give them a try, because I think they'll be sold once they try them. And at the end of the day, we speak a lot about how we are a e-commerce company, and the relationship with you guys is, again, on the juice side, people reach for these products on a daily or weekly basis. So it's a great product to get people involved on our platform, and for us to acquire companies to be able to work so closely, because as you've seen, and I'm sure you could speak and share a little bit about the PlantX team that's helped with the whole development. We jump in. It's not like we're just some company building you a website. There's a lot more that goes into it. And even when Christian was going through the sliders and I was taking a look at your website, even like the product description pages, which we refer to as PDPs, how do you create a funnel that leads to a subscription-based model? Because that's really what the key is. You run the numbers quickly. If somebody, our Little West Juice orders average $130 per order.
You're watching the PlantX Vodcast. Join us as we explore the inner workings of all things plant-based and all things PlantX, from the products and lifestyles to the people behind them. Now welcome our host, the man who combined his love of e-commerce and the plant-based lifestyle to create PlantX, Sean Dollinger.
Jacob, it's Christian.
Christian.
I'm going to have to step in for Sean. We seem to have lost him due to technical difficulties.
No problem.
Let me ask you something.
Of course.
I love the routine of going to a coffee shop to pick up a fresh coffee every morning. But what's the secret to making this barista level coffee at home?
Christian, that sort of drives to the heart of the matter when it comes to finding a coffee that works for you. With specialty coffee, which is what we trade in, everything that's graded 80 points and above on a 100-point scale. It's the fastest growing market in coffee generally. It grows at a rate of 1% a year, and it's year over year. And it's one of those markets that provides for beans that are very specific and that offer very unique attributes. And where that becomes difficult when you're buying coffee for home use is that oftentimes a barista will be aware of all those small little permutations, all of those attributes, and they will account for them in terms of how they prepare it, in terms of how they dial in the machines, the grinders, and they've got a familiarity with it. So if you're tasting an Ethiopian coffee, or an African coffee of some sort, or a Central American coffee, they'll all dial in differently on those machines. And when you're tasting it in-house at a cafe, you may not pick up on all of those different subtleties, but they're accounted for and it tastes delicious. If you try to repeat that performance at home, you may run into some difficulty in that there's a skill set that's required, or just getting used to repetitions. So we were able to, with the coffees we bring in, simplify the process to the extent that our coffees, generally, when we bring them in, are meant for the experienced barista. So someone who has some familiarity with coffee, generally espresso machines or pour over. They know what they want and they know how to extract it. But for most of us, 80% of us, we typically, scoop it in with one eye open, and it's not that we hope for the best, but you want something that will do the trick. So with our coffees, we aim to please both groups. So to the extent that you've got time on your hands and you want to spend some time and acquaint yourself with our coffees, these coffees will do that. They each have their own unique taste profiles. The farm stories are great, and they have certainly have some tremendous relationships with these farmers. But we also pick them because we understand that time is precious, and you can't go through that process every single day. So if you're looking to become a barista at home and you want to spend 1 or 2 days a week doing so, you're in good shape with these coffees. But to the extent that you just want something to see you through your day, these coffees will also do the trick. So it's a bit of a coverall with all of the coffees that we bring in.
Hey, Jacob, sorry about that. And Christian, thanks for jumping in. That's one thing, Jacob, with live shows. Finally, I think I've worked it out after 50 plus shows, and then my phone overheats because of the sun over here. So, and then lost my personal hotspot. So apologize for that, but that just shows kind of the resilience of the team over here jumping in. And Christian, thanks for doing that. So not sure what I missed. And Jacob, as you know, this is a live show and we have viewers who participate in today. It's been quite active. I actually have the questions that have come in. And I think it would be most fitting to send out a portfolio coffee package to whether the person's in the US or Canada, giving feedback. So we'll be selecting that person at the end of the show today, and we'll go ahead and get them out a nice little package. Mm-hmm. So I know when I dropped off, and hopefully you heard me or Christian took over the difference between A roasters and portfolio coffee, that side of things. But maybe we shift a little bit and maybe you could share any tips on the B2C marketing side or the B2B marketing side.
Yeah, well, the B2C marketing side, Christian, I touched on it a little bit in terms of reaching reaching out to unique customers. The importance of conveying all of the information, I think, is really where portfolio separates itself. Portfolio was really born out of it's named what it aims to be, which is just a suite of growing suite of really, really approachable coffees that can appeal to any level of coffee drinker. So in outlining these coffees online, we can express each narrative specifically, and we hope that our customer base lands on a coffee that really speaks to them, something that they can drink on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, moreover. But also to the extent that they want to sort of switch gears and move to another country, try something else, there's that as well. But we don't want for those shifts. If you're grabbing a coffee one day and then grabbing another coffee the next day, you do want to ensure that that there's no overwhelm, that there's no there's no feeling of, oh my gosh, this is, though it's different, it's still a manageable difference. It's not too acidic. It's not too bright. It has inherent qualities that allow you to sort of say, okay, well, this one may not have been for me. I like the other one, but I get it. And I can definitely finish this bag and really, really enjoy it. So those specific interactions and ensuring that our customer base has all of the information from farm to cup at their disposal online is really, really key. On the B2B side, where we hope where we do make inroads and where we continue to make inroads, is ensuring consistency. Because if you're at the office or if you're running a cafe, you're trading on a specific profile. So we sort of undertake to ensure that whatever's being asked of us in terms of, my office enjoys a chocolatey coffee, sort of a cherry front end, a smooth finish, can you help me out? And we'll still have those interactions with those clients on the B2B side. In fact, they become increasingly important at the front end, just to ensure that you lock in a flavor profile that'll work for a group of individuals, and something that they can rely on. So we do both. Obviously, both rely heavily on consistency, but on the B2B side particularly, we want to make sure that the 30 or 40 people that we're reaching with a wholesale B2B customer is such that they know week in and week out that they can rely on the flavor profile that we're providing them.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And next time we're together, we'll have to go through some tastings so you could tell me what I like out there, because sometimes I think I know and it's described a certain way on the board and I'm like, okay, but then I don't like it. So, but 3 amazing questions here that I'd love to go through with you. Mm-hmm. From Jackie, if going for a subscription model, how will customers know the frequency they should choose?
Well, the frequency there's no real trial and error to it, but we've made it so that there is the userability and the extent to which that you can customize your experience online. We're ratcheting that up. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't lock people into a subscription model that had them sit on bags of beans that they're not going to use. In fact, quite the opposite. We wanted to give our customer base flexibility, the option to try a number of different coffees, to amend orders, to grind their coffees, or to have their coffees come to them in whole bean form. All of these different permutations, we wanted to make sure that they had a level of personal oversight. And we've done that. Admittedly, at the beginning of any subscription model process, there is a trial and error piece, especially with coffee, because it's such a personal experience, and it's the first thing that you're doing. It's your first interaction in the morning. So if you tamper with that, and if you get it wrong for somebody, they'll let you know, and we want to know, and we've listened and we continue to listen. And so customizing that experience, and again, Sean, speaking to that personalized barista experience, that in-store experience, that subscription model really is focused on that. It's how do we bring the cafe into your kitchen? So that's the idea.
And one huge thing that has really helped increase sales on the Bloombox side is the quiz that we've obviously been working with the team. Originally, I'm like, we need to introduce the concierge on the website. They're like, what are you speaking about? What are you talking about? I'm like, those, they're like, a quiz? I'm like, a quiz, So we're about to launch it on the Little West website. And I already seen the questions floating around with you guys. And that'll obviously help get the consumer, the customer, exactly what they want at the end of the day. So really excited to see that. Another great question, and I'm actually excited to hear the answer to this one from Kiki. Do you think that plant-based milks should be paired to specific beans? For example, would you suggest to have oat milk with specific blends and almond milk with something else?
That's a very good question, and the rate or the speed at which plant-based alternatives have made their way into the market, and they're commonplace. When I started in retail coffee 10 years ago, they were certainly around, of course, but it was an afterthought, and it was something that we would charge more for inexplicably, and it was just something we didn't pay much attention to. I drink a heck of a lot of oat milk these days, just because I have found a sweet spot with one of our coffees. But to answer your question, as it relates to our coffees specifically, the Brazilian coffees that we bring in generally are grown at an elevation range between 800 and 1,200 feet above sea level, and they're grown in an area of Brazil that sort of provides complexity to the bean, lots of chocolate, as I mentioned earlier, lots of butter, lots of caramel. So you can't go wrong in adding a creamy sort of nut-based alternative to those coffees. It's a lock. It's a natural marriage, and you'll get a result that you're looking for. With the Colombian coffees, absolutely. I found that almond milk, for instance, works very, very well with our Inga Ponte. That Inga also is a tremendous coffee on its own, but I would suggest almond milk for that. Once you start getting into African coffees with nut-based milk alternatives, it is a trial and error process. Ethiopian coffees, for instance, I've had some great success with oat milk, but there are others that are very, very specific coffees that don't work quite as well. And I know that's confusing to a coffee drinking audience. It's not to sort of make things overly complex. But again, with the coffees that we bring in, many of them are from Central and South America. They blend very, very well with both almond and oat milk especially.
Great. And I find it such a personal choice, like you've said, and this is what's going to be so fun, because obviously the quiz is as powerful as the questions, the knowledge, and everything that goes with it. Because if someone has an unbelievable experience, obviously, with your beans, they'll just come back for more. And like I started off by saying on the show today, how the love of coffee, and I just see it with questions like this. These are fantastic, and the interaction today is great. We're running a little tight on time, so I'll ask you one more from Daniel, but I'll mention, because Michael's always really active, but you touched on a lot of his questions today. Where do you source your beans from? He's assuming you're a roaster. And are the beans organic? And what is the real difference between organic and non? You could touch base on it, but here's Daniel's question as well. What's your favorite coffee machine? So if you want to, what's your favorite coffee machine at home? I think that's very important to specify.
Okay, so a couple of different things to touch on. So we do roast, Michael, and we roast in downtown Toronto, and we have done so for close to between just 6.5 years now. We have access to a number of different coffees. My partners do an excellent job of sourcing our coffees. We have direct relationships with the farmers that we deal with across the board. So we don't actively avoid organic coffees. In fact, if they're made available to us, we certainly onboard them. But what we do trade in specifically is direct trade. So we're really looking to ensure that the supply chain is tight, to the extent that whatever's happening on the farm, is happening in your cup. And so a lot of these farms are generational farms. They've been taken over by sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters, and they continue to perform at a very, very high level, winning cups of excellence in their at the provincial level, the territorial level, the provincial level, and at the country level. And so that's how we do it. We certainly look for a number of different beans that come our way. Some are organic, some are non-organic. All of them are traded directly. They're beans that we've sourced ourselves. As far as my favorite machine at home goes, I've got a lot of different stuff. But a Hario pour over is just it's there. It allows me to just see how the coffee is performing. If you've ever used a pour over, you'll notice that if you use coffee on day 1 or if you use it on day 6, it'll reflect differently in that filter. You'll see it bloom differently. It just takes on different characteristics. So I like to see the life cycle of the coffee as I use it throughout the week. It'll taste just marginally different day over day because the bean is aging, right? It's green. It's gone from green to roasted to ground up, and now it's sitting in your kitchen. It's no longer a living it is a living organism, but it's depreciating over time. So the fresher it is, that will sort of that will continue to sort of exhaust, and you'll get to a point where the coffee won't necessarily taste the same as it did on day 1, but it can still taste exceptional, and you'll have to make marginal you'll have to consider those things as you go. But these are small little technical things, all to say that you're still going to get a great cup on day 1 or day 7. But the pour over for me is a true reflection of where coffee stands.
Love it, Jacob. Totally different direction than I'm sure somebody was waiting for, a mention of some machine out there to make it. But there's something special and something that allows you to connect with that cup of coffee. I agree with you. Making that pour over any time of the day is really, really special. And then, just putting it. I totally get what you're saying. And our team, Alex specifically has told me in the past, you want to partner with experts in different parts of the business. And I definitely think that Plantex has achieved that with you guys on the coffee side of things. And again, thank you for believing in us. Thank you for coming and sharing with our investors and shareholders today, and look forward to seeing you in person soon.
And if I may, Sean, thanks to you and the team as well. We feel the exact same way. We've really enjoyed our time together, and we're really excited for things to unfold in a special way over the coming months and years.
Thanks, Jacob. I'm going to try to be the first to purchase on the new website. Let's see if anyone beats me to it.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Thanks. Enjoy your day. So I love bringing on partners. The public markets obviously has two sides of it: where a share price is, where the general public values a company, and then there's the actual business at the end of the day. And I try not to get too much into the weeds on what people say out there about our company, but the one thing that I love to highlight, or the thing that confuses me, is when people say Plantex isn't real. How can it not be real? You have Jacob here. They supply what I believe the top coffee or the top cafe in Toronto, and if you don't believe me, go into Deneen and give their coffee a try. Go on the website, order it. Little West, when we start announcing some of our clients for Little West, it's going to absolutely blow your mind who we're supplying Little West juices to throughout all of California and soon to be North America. Some of the top retailers that exist in the grocery side of things. And when people start understanding what Plantex is all about, and go check out our website. We just launched a whole top new nav bar. I was playing around with it 2 days ago for about an hour. And while I'm going through our website, and again, 20 plus years of e-com experience, I'm blown away by what the team has put together. So again, it's one thing if people on the public market side of things want to say things about our share price, but one thing I could tell you is they don't truly understand where Plantex is and where we're headed. And I'm really excited for everybody to find out a lot more over the coming weeks, months, and years. And until next time, stay curious, stay planted, stay healthy.
Thanks for watching the Plantex Vodcast. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more information, go to investor.plantex.com. See you next time.